Hi, Artemis, and welcome to Soul Connected. I'm so thrilled to have
Hey,
you here.
hello,
You are,
Daniela. Thank you so much.
it's so great to talk to you because I've worked with you online, and you are from
Indeed.
Greece, and you are a tarot reader and an intuitive and also a life coach. And today I'm so happy to
Exactly.
talk to you about the mysteries of tarot reading and your intuitive skills and how you became the wonderful person that you are.
Thank you so much for your kind words. It is amazing to work with you in a personal level, and thank you so much for inviting me in your podcast. I wish you the best. Have an amazing start in this. And I hope people it will reach out to people because I know you have so amazing things to say that everyone needs to hear. So I am
Wow.
yours. You may ask me whatever you want.
Okay, so thank you so much. Artemis, I really want to know, how did you become an intuitive and how did you get access to tarot reading? Because that's not something you learn in school.
No, it's not. Trust me, it's not. Okay, well, I don't have something as a heritage like my parents, my grandparents. There is no one with such a charisma or something like that. It actually began in a younger age. I was quite intuitive with dreams. Like I would see something in my sleep, and it would happen in a couple of days or weeks, and it was like weird at first, but then okay, it was just bypassing that. Later on, I had the weirdest year of my life, honestly. From year 12 to year 13, I could actually predict earthquakes in my local area. When an earthquake would hit in my local area, an hour ago, I just knew that. And then I was like, okay, there's something wrong with me. I mean, this is not normal. And people at first were like, oh my God, it's so random. We live in Greece and there are earthquakes all the time. But I used to be so specific in like in 1 hour we're gonna have this one that it was so weird. Right
Yeah.
after that, but it just stopped. Unfortunately, it just stopped in
So
one
how
year
old
at
were you? You were 12?
13,
13.
12 to 13 years old, and then it stopped.
Yeah,
Right
yeah.
after that, I started, playing around with cards. I had this pull towards cards, but at first it was just card games, like the usual card games, the cards. And it was just doing, the party tricks. I was just pulling cards for my friends. I was going online looking for definitions and all that. And later on at 16, I was pulled to the tarot world, and this was it. Then I started reading books and experimenting with cards. I realized that I was very, very to the point and accurate with timings, time frames, outcomes, the future, and all of that. But I was like, you know what? I have to have a certificate, something to be professional. So I do have a certificate. I studied in a school here in Greece and I took my diploma and I started working with local clients. And as
Sorry,
years
but what
went
kind
by,
of certificate in tarot reading? Is there anything like that?
yes,
Oh,
there
really?
is a spiritual, yeah, indeed. There is a
Oh,
spiritual school here, and this person, this master, he's teaching everything like hypnosis and subliminals and hypnotherapy and all that. And including all that, he's teaching tarot. And I was drawn towards him, and he teaches me. But experience comes by years and years, years, years. I gain more experience, starting working with locals, and then I moved to the online world. So here we are right now, and it's going pretty well, to be honest.
yeah. Okay. So I didn't really know that there was anything like that, that you could get a certificate for tarot reading. I know about the school, what's it called? Arthur. Oh my God, can you help me out? It's a really famous
I
school.
know the BD Tarot, they do give certificates. You know
Mm,
what? Basically, it's not a recognized
mm,
profession. Like you cannot just go out there and there is it's not official. But there are schools who are actually teaching that, spiritual schools who teach
yeah, yeah.
um,
Arthur
hypnosis
Findlay,
and
and it's Arthur Findlay. Now I remember that is a very famous school where you can teach and learn all kinds of mediumship and spiritual teaching.
amazing.
also, not only sensing intuitive information, but also
Intuitive.
connecting
Yeah.
to deceased ones and all of
Yes,
that. Yeah, but
mediumships and all of that.
yeah,
Yes, there are schools that teach that, and just to have the certificate.
yeah,
However, I have to make it clear that anyone could do that as a profession since it's not official. I mean, you don't actually need a diploma to have this as a profession, but a diploma and having something seems like more solid, more
yeah,
trustworthy, like
yeah, of
that.
course. People like the certificates, don't they? They don't, they like something
Unfortunately.
official. But
Indeed.
would you agree that tarot is like a language to learn and that it's also kind of a tool that you use as a channel? So the information is actually coming from you as a channel, and you just use the language or the symbols and the pictures to get a clearer message?
Exactly. Well, basically, it is more than that. Tarot is a tool because, to be honest, the one who is bringing the channeled messages is our own intuition. It is our own self.
Yeah.
We get, it is this such a big conversation. We get the messages from the quantum field, like the united
Yeah.
spiritual world. I am united with you, and everyone is united with everyone. So basically, all the knowledge about the future, about the trends, about intuitive downloads is out there. So tarot is just the tool because it has clear access to your subconscious mind. And the
Mm.
subconscious is the bridge to the outworldly worldy. So you basically get the messages through the cards, but basically it is you who direct the messages. This is why sometimes some people, even if they know all the definitions by the book and everything, they just can't channel messages properly. So it's not enough to just know the definitions and have all the books and read and study and practice. You actually do need a kind of talent, but everyone has a talent as long as you unlock those bridges and just open and be more
Yeah,
receptive towards what's
absolutely.
coming as message.
Yes, absolutely. So what I figured, I've played around with tarot quite a few times, and I still feel like I still need to look it up every time I do it. I'm not so intuitive with the tarot reading. My channels are open more in a dream state, actually, and also in meditation or
Okay.
claircognizance.
Interesting.
But when I do a tarot reading, I have the feeling that it very often gets me right away. But
Okay.
sometimes when I'm chaotic in my mind, I cannot get a
Exactly.
clear answer. It seems like I don't
Exactly.
know what to do with that right now. Have you ever had that experience?
Basically, I don't have this experience with my clients because I do have some kind of defenses to just block my energy and block whatever comes as chaotic energy. And I just basically connect with my clients with their energy in a pure form.
Mm.
However, when it comes to my readings,
Yeah.
this is totally different. I've never done readings for me that are accurate because
Okay.
exactly it
Yeah.
is, I cannot block my own energy. My own energy is inside myself. So I do affect the cards. But when it
Yeah. Yeah.
comes to people and clients, I don't have such a problem, to be honest. I've
Okay. Yeah.
trained to leave their energy and the chaos outside.
Oh, yeah. So the ego is interfering when you have your own personal issues and your desires and your fears and
My
your
desire.
hopes and dreams. Yeah. Okay. I get that.
Of course,
Yeah.
we just can't accept what's there and what is objective. And it's like when you have a reading and you keep pulling cards until you find the one that is perfect and that satisfies you. So it is not subject. It is subjective basically when you do readings on your own. So
Yeah.
yes, not every day is a perfect day for a tarot reading. You have to be
Okay.
calm, you have to
Yeah.
prepare yourself.
Mm.
However, by experience and when you become more experienced, you don't need the breath work, you don't need to ground yourself. You just go straight to your readings, and it's just fine.
But walk me through that, or no, walk us through that. When you have a client that is online and you've never seen the client, you just get a name and sometimes maybe birthday.
Okay.
How do you connect
Yes.
with that energy? How is that
You know,
possible?
I know sometimes it is so hard, so hard to explain. Okay, having a photo of a person works better
Yeah,
because according to all the energy and the quantum and the all, we are all one kind of
yeah,
stuff.
of course.
Someone's energy carries the photons that have been used to capture the picture. So basically, it is a kind of energy. However,
Mhm,
most of the times, I do just need a name and date of birth.
mhm,
um, it is the exact same way. I get the clues, the birth date, which is something more specific in
mhm,
combination with someone's name, and it is actually working.
mhm.
To be honest, most of the times it is something that cannot be explained. Not everything can be explained. I mean,
Not yet.
I just not yet, exactly. There's no scientific proof or any kind of proof how this actually works.
Yeah,
There are the skeptics, and I totally respect that. But to me, honestly, you have seen that personally. I just need your name, and
yeah,
I can tune into you
yeah,
with the
yeah.
same way that I explained with the photo. Basically, everything is united. And since I have something that connects me to you, even if that's just your story, because sometimes besides the name and date of birth, I just need your story and your background, and I can tune into your energy and channel
Mhm.
the messages. Yes, we're not gods, and sometimes we can be wrong or end up not being accurate, but this is another story as well
Of
on
course,
why it happens.
of course.
But I can explain you if you want.
Sorry?
But I can explain you if you want, like why
Yeah,
sometimes tarot is not accurate.
definitely. Please go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so sometimes tarot is not accurate because tarot go with the energy trends, like what tends to happen according to the current energy. So we do have to deal with human free will. So it is almost it is up to the person's choices, the path that it's gonna
Yeah,
actually happen. So if
the
you come to
timeline
me.
that is chosen. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm giving you the guidance on the timeline you are right now. If
Mm.
you see something negative, that
Yes.
doesn't mean that it is written in stones and it can never change.
Mm.
Instead, you can actually use the bad forecast and the bad prediction and use that as a way to bring yourself to the right timeline.
Mhm.
So sometimes I do see a timeline outcome, and if something changes, something major changes in the
Mm.
middle, yes, then the timeline shifts and the outcome
Mm.
shifts, and readings tend to be not accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so interesting because what I wanted to ask you was
Yes.
actually if it would be possible to do a live reading about but I don't know if you like to do that about the global current timelines that we are on. Do you think that's possible? You can
It
say
is
no.
amazing. It is amazing. It's very challenging. I'd love to do that. However,
Okay.
I just want you to give me one moment to go get my cards,
Of
okay?
course, of course. You can
Okay,
take
okay.
your time, and we can maybe do it in some minutes because before that, I would just love to
Yes,
ask you, um,
sure.
can you ask Tarot um, the kind of different timelines that a person has in parallel lives? Is that possible? Like
It
because
is,
everything, yeah.
you can ask everything, anything. And the more specific you are, and the more
Mm-hmm.
specific you are with your terms and conditions, like, I want to know what would happen if I was doing this and this and that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So you get the different options. And basically, I recommend people to use tarot readings and cards and divine tools in such way, like into a guidance way. It is okay to see about what your ex-boyfriend is thinking about you right now, but tarot is even better when you use them as a guidance tool because you can see through tarot all the options that you have. You can get the divine guidance and the divine downloads, and that you can pick the right path to choose.
Okay, okay. Because, the matter of parallel lives and parallel realities is coming more and more into the understanding of physics as well.
At
And
last.
it's actually a subject that I have been thinking about so much the past few days. And yeah, so now when I'm starting to talk about this, I'm going to make a big step to actually talk about this openly, but I suppose you understand that. So let's get started on that. Um, you know that humanity is in a really great at I mean, well, shift. Some people say shift, but I would say decision point of timelines to be chosen.
Absolutely. Yes.
Everybody is talking about that, and my personal connection to that subject has been for quite some time now that I'm usually having experiences in the astral state. So usually I'm waking up from a dream state, becoming aware of myself, and then I'm having experiences. I feel it in my body. My body is vibrating a lot, electrified. And then I'm either traveling to other dimensions or, and this is the first time that I'm saying this now on this podcast, is I've had a couple of interactions with extraterrestrials. And
I'm getting the chills. Oh my God.
it was most of
Amazing.
the
Go
time
ahead.
really great, really amazing. But there were also two interactions that were, let's say, challenging. And
Please tell us about it. Tell us about it.
mm, yeah, maybe not so detailed, but there were
Okay.
different kind of species, and some of them were very, very heart-centered and very open. People know from the Pleiades, especially. But there were also a couple of interactions with species that is called the Greys. And what I found out is, and maybe you can dive into that a little bit, is that right now the timeline that we have is like a decision point, and the the ones that are taking or having contact with Earthling or with Earth people, with Earth humans,
Mm-hmm,
are like a version of ourselves from another timeline, and
mm-hmm.
they are not traveling through time, they're traveling through space, which is the same as traveling through time. And the way I sense it is that one of the descendants that came from a really unfortunate timeline where we actually ended up destroying Earth more or less and making it an inhabitable planet, especially with nuclear weapons, is the species that came to be the Greys. You know what the Greys are?
I know, of course, I know about
Okay.
species extra.
And what I feel is that they have a really big evolutionary problem, and that is that they lack emotion, light, because they live kind of in darkness, and also empathy. So that's something that is quite difficult for them,
It
and they
makes
sense
sense.
that it's difficult to evolve. And the other really positive timeline that we can choose is developing into species like the Pleiades, who are very full of light and heart-centered. And what I'm sensing is that they are coming back, which is actually not coming back in time, because it's parallel
There's no
to,
linear, there's no that.
yeah, to get some of the genetics to enhance their own timeline from people who are already, as humans here, have decided that they would go into the light and
This
love
size.
timeline. So it's difficult to explain. I feel that it's
Trust
like
me, I understand everything.
really okay. So
Yes,
because to me, it's like, how can I explain that? Like we are a tree, and the tree has many branches, goes in different directions. So it's all at the same time, and every branch has its own life, but it's still the same tree. And
exactly. Exactly.
And what I found is that everybody is talking about the shift that is happening now and about different timelines, is that there are actually at least those two ways to go into a heart-centered connection, future, future doesn't exist, or into this, let's say, unfortunate and fear-based timeline, which is making Earth quite difficult to live in. And if you look at the physicality of the Greys, they lack beauty, they lack uh,
Yes.
a harmonious body. And I think they've developed out of a unfortunate development of an inhabitable planet. But that's something I just wanted to talk about because we were talking about the timelines. And maybe
Okay.
that's something you can take a reading on if we are actually branching into those very significantly different timelines, or if I'm totally nuts and this has all just been a dream.
No, I've been discussing with spiritual people and scientific people. I've been having this exact kind of discussion. And we have all come to realize that we are in a very critical point.
Mm,
Something is boiling and it is about to explode, like in a metaphorical way.
mhm,
Most of the people that I have discussed are very pessimistic, and this is what is basically what you're telling about choosing the unfortunate timeline.
yeah.
Those who will, and the part that I agree with you is that those who will actually choose the unfortunate path towards lack of emotions, full of fear and no love, nothing, just a gray life are going to be the people who don't realize that we are more than those physical bodies. It's going to be the people who are very skeptics, who live through fear, who believe that we are not able to change our lives, who don't believe in spirituality, who don't believe in the soul and in all of that.
Mm,
However, most of those of the people of the earth, I am afraid that are on that side.
yeah,
However,
yeah.
I do feel that the latest years and with the Aquarius season that we are going through, I'm very optimistic that there is a big bunch of people who are actually waking up. I do see online and through my clients and through my surrounding people that there are so many souls awakening and
Mm,
remembering and
yeah,
realizing that love, forgiveness,
mm,
being in alignment and all of that is
mm,
actually something real. It
yeah,
exists, and that
yes.
we are basically God. However, there is this conflict between those two worlds, and I'm afraid that there's going to be a kind of big boiling, even a war.
Mm,
I'm
mm,
afraid so much that there is this like something is brewing and it is gonna end up in something big and devastating. However, history has taught us that through those big clearings, those big eruptions,
mm.
then comes a kind of peace. And unfortunately, I feel that we live in this period before a big bang, and
And
it's gonna be very big.
you compare it a little bit to the downgoing of Atlantis?
Oh my God, this was a huge war. You know, again, this was a kind of similar thing. Crystals and spirituality, and the spirituality and the culture was actually so technologically advanced. It was amazing, but yet at the same time, it was very grounded. And I do believe that the destroy of Atlantis was a nuclear world. Maybe I sound very woo-woo, very,
I
but
know.
I've read that in book. This is a theory that I
Yeah.
truly believe. There's no way that it didn't exist. There is no, for me, at least for
Mm,
me,
yeah.
there's no way it just disappeared in one night. It is
Mm,
just, yes, and I do believe that it is happening again, like the history has been repeated. It's not going to be that big. And I do believe that there are going to be the teachings left, survivors left, not
mm,
actually survivors. I don't believe that the humanity is going to be destroyed and it's going to be such a big war, but I do believe that there's going to be a big spiritual war, a big war between the good and the bad, the evil and the light. There is going to be such a kind of war.
Don't you think that evil and light or good and bad are terms we use? And what we actually mean by that is a different kind of energy that arises from either habitable or inhabitable life. And especially, when you talk about the body being destroyed, the body of Earth could also be destroyed as a whole, but still our soul would survive and take on a different kind of existence. So there is not going to be a destruction in the way of killing a species. A species would evolve into something else, but you said that there are so many people who don't believe or who are not aware of them being an immortal soul. And to my experiences, that has a lot to do with the age or the stage of evolution of a soul, meaning when there
Exactly.
is younger souls, which are many on this earth, it's not their job to realize that they are immortal. It's their job to get along and to make a living and to learn how to love. So
Okay.
to me, that doesn't really mean that they would choose a bad path or a dark path, but it's like they're just more unaware because they're younger as a soul, that they haven't had so many experiences. What do
Okay,
you think
I
about
agree
that?
with you. I agree with you, and I do believe the soul levels, of course. But I feel that every time a soul is born, along with all those soul contracts and the lessons that this soul has decided that they want to learn here, I do believe that every time, no matter what level the soul is, there is the need to recognize and remember who you really are. I
Mm,
believe that this happens in every stage, but of
mm,
course, there's the level of difficulty, and there is also the level of the surroundings and the
mm,
triggers that you have. This is why I believe that this there is no equal war. Like, because souls are born in a world who doesn't believe so much in spirituality and in how soul is eternal.
mm,
So even if someone is born as a nine, a soul level nine, let's say, and this person is raised in a family and in a society that is very scientific and very fearful and very in anxiety and depression.
mm,
And including that, all the information that we get from the TV and all the hypnotizing that we experience
mm,
through social, the bad
mm,
social, and the
mm,
TV, this person, even if they are nine, they cannot wake up. On the
mm,
contrary, a soul, if it's born like two, if it's just a young soul and it is raised in a family like, for example, yours or mine, who we are into those stuff along with the scientific ones,
mm,
always,
mm.
this soul is much more likely that will actually remember something and be in the right path.
Yeah.
So I feel it has more to do with the triggering in the environment that someone raises up, and not just about the soul contract, but of course, we
Okay.
cannot prove any of that. So it is again something subjective.
Mm, mm.
But I do believe that every soul, no matter what the level is, does have the chance to remember who we truly are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I don't think that it's also really necessary, mm, as long as people understand being heart-centered and having heart intelligence, which is, in my opinion, way more powerful than believing in a God or in an eternal
Exactly.
universe, because we don't understand the concept anyway in its full
Of course.
capacity. It's so difficult to understand the oneness and what creation actually means. But as a human
Yes,
being, our really great strength and something that each and every one of us has accessible right now without evolving into something greater, bigger, or
of
more
course.
intelligent, spiritual awakened is our heart intelligence. And when we realize that the soul is this part here, or that this
It's,
is the true
it's
power
interesting.
center, I think that's fine. That's enough.
I'd
That's
like
okay.
to include something also in that, which is equally important. I do believe that someone will be happy and fulfilled if they realize their soul's path, the destiny, as we
Oh,
say.
yeah.
And the destiny, unfortunately, for so many people, is united is one with the job and the career. Like the
Mm,
destiny is to be a doctor. No, the destiny is to be the person, not the profession, not the
mm,
job, not the career.
mm,
I have come to realize that when someone feels, as we say, in alignment, they have both. They have the heart-centered knowledge, and they do have the knowledge of who they truly are what they are here to serve for and what they are here to experience and give and offer. Because I do believe that everyone who came here didn't just come for their ego and to please themselves and to just enjoy the human experience. Of course, you can enjoy the human experience, but everyone is here to offer something.
Yes.
If you realize what it is that you have to offer and you combine that with being open in your heart, it's going to be the absolute happiness. And
Yeah.
offering doesn't have to be something big. Someone might have to offer their hands,
Mm.
their building abilities, their
Yeah.
construction. Someone
Yeah.
else has to offer teachings.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah, absolutely. And the North Node in the birth chart is giving so
Of
much
course,
information about that,
of
where
course.
you're
So
actually,
many, so many
yeah,
information in our birth charts.
it's all there. You just have to read it.
Exactly.
So
What
do you
is your
feel
north?
my
What
North
is your
Node
north?
is Pisces? So spirituality, unconditional love, la 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 la.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah, and
Um,
I'm also working with a Chiron very often in psychotherapy, so I compare North Node and Chiron because, in my opinion, when you learn to heal your Chiron, your core wound in this life, then you have the biggest or and strongest access to your life purpose because you overcome the thing that limits you the most and that keeps you in
exactly.
fear and in anxiety the most. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
What is your node? Your North?
Um, I don't quite remember, to be honest. I don't remember my chart from by heart. I do remember the important ones, the moon and all my planets, but I
Yeah.
don't remember my north node.
Oh,
I'm
you should
actually
look it
not,
up.
I'm actually not into astrology so much. I am
Mm,
more into tarot,
yeah.
into other divine tools, into pendulums,
Okay.
into subconscious healing, limiting belief, digging and how we work with ourselves.
Mm,
Because no matter what the chart or the purpose or any kind of such information is, I believe that everyone can overcome themselves. Everyone can realize what they came here to offer just by working with themselves.
yeah.
So besides, for me, it is so time consuming to deal with the world of astrology and the world of tarot. I had to pick one of two.
Yeah, of
I've
course, of
done
course.
with both of them. It is so chaotic. I mean, it's huge world, and we do have life, the daily
Yeah, of
life as well.
course. Of course. So how is it in your daily life? Do you have intuitions that come along just like that, or do you connect specifically to your clients?
No, I do have intuition in my daily life as well because according to my human design, I don't know if you're familiar with the human design.
Yes, not so very much, but I've heard about a
Okay.
few things. Yeah.
Okay. Through that kind of chart, I found the way that my body responds to yes, no, go there, don't go there, do this or do that. So I have come to hear my body. There is like, I can hear the voice of ego. I know where the voice of ego is, so I know
Okay.
not to hear them.
Mhm.
I know where the voice of my pure intuition and my higher self is. And
Okay.
I do get the gut feelings. Not everyone has the gut feelings. For some people, it is voice. For some people, it is stomach. For some people, it is weird when someone realizes the gut, the instincts, and when a decision is right or wrong. So basically, I follow my guts and the inner feelings. Like when I am about to do something, if I'm getting a big no from my body, then
Mhm.
I take a step back.
Okay.
However, it is tricky because most people confuse the voice of the intuition with the fear of
Oh,
the
yes.
ego.
Oh,
You
yes. Yeah,
have
yeah.
to
Yeah,
understand the difference
absolutely.
between the
Yes.
ego
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
actual voice. So
Yeah.
I have trained, and it is very, very helpful with so many decisions.
Okay. And when you have a client, do you ever get the feeling of a no, I shouldn't work with that client?
Absolutely, yes. I
Okay.
have canceled live sessions. Like the moment I open and see the person, I feel I cannot judge. Of course, someone needs my service and I'm here to offer. But honestly, I do have people that are like they have walls and they shut down. And when I see some people, I honestly shut down and I'm like, I'm sorry, I can refund, but I cannot work for various reasons. You know, it is hard to work with energies. Not all energies click together. So yes, this happens at times.
What do you think is that? Is that maybe because the person itself is very unclear and unsettled, or a skeptic, or what
No.
stand in the way?
No, basically, it happens with people who are here to actually test you. It happens with the people who come here with crossed hands, like, okay, tell me.
Mm. Yeah,
And
yeah,
you're like, okay, can you please help me? Give me a bit of information. Like, just be open, at least your
yeah,
energy. So
yeah.
people are closed and their energy is like shrinked
Mm,
and they are not open, they are not receptive. So it creates a chaos in the energy. And I just cannot get intuitive downloads. I just cannot get
mm,
the brainstorm and all that. And I just can't work. And it happens with so many spiritual leaders, leaders, no, it's just a big word, spiritual workers like
yeah,
my profession. So it is possibly to happen,
mm,
mostly from skeptics and people who are here to
mm,
judge or
yeah.
to see if you're as good as they say.
And yeah, I get that. In psychotherapy, I also, of course, have clients that I feel I'm not going to succeed working with, but that has more to do with personality styles and the way I know they will feed on my time and on my attention and on my love, you know? And then I
I
try to
know.
set a boundary about that too. But of course, when you work with clients online, you can always just say, I don't have the time right now, or something is not working right now. And when you get a message about someone and you have the feeling they are not ready to hear that, or
I
it
don't
could be,
care. I just say that.
okay, okay, great. Okay.
No, I'm
Yeah.
not here to sugarcoat. I do believe that everyone needs to hear the good and the bad because
Mm,
even hearing something bad will even wake you up and help you actually make the right decisions. So I'm not here to tell people what they need to hear. It is the easiest thing to do, but I'm not doing that. This is why I don't want to do pregnancy questions and health questions because I know that I have to tell them what I see. I cannot just
yeah.
lie.
Yeah.
So I just
Yeah.
forbid that. I think that it is not ethical for me to do because I
Yeah.
cannot lie. And if this is
Yeah.
something negative, I will
Yeah.
have to say that, and
Mm,
I don't want to.
mm, mm. When you say something negative, do you think that the people, when they hear something negative about their future, have an impact on forming the timeline according to the fear that they step into then?
Exactly. This is such an amazing question. Because, yes, sometimes when you see something negative and you know the client or you get the energy, you just have to say that in a more soft way,
Hmm.
like a suggestion, like, you know what, I believe you should do that. And my teacher had taught me one thing, even though sometimes I'm very, just, I say the truth, very raw sometimes. But my teacher told me, never tell them something negative. This is why he was teaching me without reversed cards, even though I'm okay with reversed cards. But he told me that we want, as spiritual workers, to promote the positive energy. So if you see something negative, focus on the positive that they could have if they don't go to that path. Like, for example, if I see that you're gonna definitely be fired,
Hmm.
I'm not gonna tell you be fired, you're gonna be fired. I'm gonna tell you that there is something negative coming. So just be careful of this person, be careful of this project, be careful of this thing, because if you don't handle that well, you might have something negative. So I choose the way to say that. Because yes, sometimes when people hear something negative, they just shut down and they create
Yeah.
a self-fulfilling prophecy, kind of. They
Yeah.
just determine their own future. So we have to be very careful in how we say that. But there are those people who just need the raw truth and they tell you that. Just
Yeah.
give me the
Yeah.
truth. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. But I thought that the reversed card didn't always mean something negative, but like something when a card is more negative in the
It gives
positive
it positive.
way, it gives a positive meaning to that. And also it's like something is missing. For example, I don't know, when the sun is in reverse, it means that energy and clarity is missing, something like that. I'm not a pro.
Okay. Of course, you have absolutely right in that. But through experience, you will come to realize when the card of the sun, for example, which is an amazing card, when
Mhm.
it pops up in a reading, you know that it's not the positive. It's like a warning. So it comes with experience. I do have specific spreads with specific positions. So
Mhm.
if the sun card goes to the obstacles position, then it doesn't need to be reversed. I know that the sun there acts as an obstacle. So there's something blocking your happiness.
Oh, okay.
Same goes with all kind of cards. So I'm not interpreting every card in a positive way.
Mhm.
I can interpret positive cards in a negative way as well, according to the cards that are nearby, combinations, positions, and so many different symbolisms and repetition patterns, something you see as a pattern. So it's so many factors
Mhm.
combined. So you don't always need the reverse. The reverse just bring clearer messages, but if you train yourself enough, you can find those reversed messages even in the normal, the
Mhm.
right way. So yes, there is a way to see all the aspects and even what's missing.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, let's give it a try. I want to see if we can make some
Absolutely.
sense of the global timelines if you are up to that.
Okay, just give me a moment, okay?
Of course, of course.
Okay, thank you. Um, okay. So what exactly should we see?
Well, I was just wondering, like, you are also inside the world, so of course you have something to do with it. And is it possible that you just stay with your energy out of that, so you don't access the
Of
timeline that
course.
is, of course, affecting you too? But let's see, like, that moment right now at almost the end of 2025. How much of the energy in the globe, or let's say the majority of the people, are we heading towards becoming more together, more whole, and more heart-centered, or are we heading more towards hatred and separation?
Okay, got that. See, that's a clear question. That is definitely going to give us a clear answer.
Right.
So let me cut. Okay, let's see what we get. Oh my God. Eight of Cups.
Hmm.
Eight of Cups is not someone leaving. Eight of Cups has also an important definition of sacrifices. So right now we are at the point where we need to make some sacrifice.
Hmm.
We need, maybe this is the kind of clearing, like people, like a martyr. Like people have to, something has to happen for people to realize that, oh my God, we have to wake up. Something has to happen in order for people to understand that we will be lost unless we choose the right side. Also, Page of Wands, we need to communicate with each other. We need to spread the messages. So these two cards so far bring us the message that we can do the right way. We can save this as long as we transfer the messages and have messengers and have people who are like how do we say that? Oh my God, ambassadors of all this spirituality, and it can be saved. So far I do see the solutions. I didn't want to say that. Ten of Wands. People are tired, exhausted, overwhelmed. So to me, it feels like the majority just cannot listen to the ambassadors. They just cannot listen to the messengers bringing the spiritual positive messages. And people are very, very in low energy, very overwhelmed. So this is why, unfortunately, something major has to happen and I'm afraid it's going to be inevitable. So, yeah, Two of Swords, the decisions, the dilemma. There's not going to be a specifically linear linear path. I do believe in duality, and this is interesting because we do have the number of two, which is basically the duality in the whole world. There is the feminine and the masculine energy, the good and the bad, the yin and the yang. So it's not either this or that. It's like there are gonna be
We're not
sacrifices.
saying that male is bad and woman is good because of
No,
birth.
of course not. We do need masculine energy and as
Yes,
well,
of course.
not just feminine
Yeah,
energy. It's not just receiving, receiving. We have to take some action. We do need
yeah,
the,
yeah.
the masculine as well. Love that. So yes, I do believe that there's gonna be a dual path. Like there are gonna be the people who go there and the people who go to the other side. So to me, the answer is quite clear so far that yes, there are going to be some major things happening. There are going to be the people who are going to be trying to keep us on the right track. But unfortunately, there's going to be like two armies. And the final card for now, oh my God, it's so amazing. I'm getting the chills. The sun.
Ah,
It's such a positive message. I'm so happy about that. So it feels like it's, oh my God, I honestly have the chills. So it feels like it's gonna be this spiritual war, but you know what? The good is gonna prevail. The sun,
yeah.
the sun is bringing the light. So yes, it's such a positive message. I'm leaving you with such a positive message right now. Is there anything else you'd like to ask since I'm here?
Well, let's check if what and in what way other species will help us and interact with us on a more direct level.
Amazing question as well. See, I miss those kind of questions. Enough with asking about the ex-boyfriends. Okay, so maybe the star.
Uh,
Actually, they're gonna help us with the star here is something more, let's say, spiritual,
mm,
through dreams, through
mm,
downloads, through intuition, through channeling messages. It's not gonna
mm,
be an actual practical way. It's
mm,
gonna be a way more astral, more
mm,
divine, more coming
mm,
to us. So we do need the messengers. We do need the people who can channel and brainstorm downloads and messages and
mm,
explain to us how everything's done. So you can see even more people actually explaining everything about soul, about how this works, how soul works, how the mind works, how meditation, hypnosis, subliminal help. So it is through such way. So it's going to be through channeling messages. The strength, it also will come through the strength here. I would interpret that as the body. So it is mind and body. So through more inclination towards wellness, eating more healthy, being more active. Because right now you see less and less people being out in the nature, being active. So it will come through nature, through being more vital, more vibrant, more alive. So combining soul, but also the body health,
so they can
because it
help
is
us
super
to develop
important.
a more healthy body and to live in our
Exactly. It's like we will realize that everything is important. We cannot ignore the foods that we put in our body. We cannot, yes, we must be careful with what we feed our souls, but we also have to be careful with what we feed our bodies. And Four of Cups here, to me, it's not always something negative. Sometimes it is the Four of Cups here, it's the boredom, but in a positive way. You know, boredom is a very misunderstood word. I do believe that boredom actually feels safety. When you feel bored, it feels like you have everything is settled, and you just feel safe. So basically, it will come through helping us realize that we have to get bored. We have to not be all the time active, 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 do, do, do. We have to be more feminine, more
Mm,
receptive, more relaxed, and take a step back. We live in such hectic lives. We are busy all the time and we forget to just relax. So the messages are going to come through channeling and through spreading the word and through realizing from living examples that we can actually achieve fulfillment, happiness, and going to the right path, keeping mind and body healthy, finding time for ourselves to get some rest, and hermit, meditate, um, pause your mind, reflect a little bit. Hermit, just go inside ourselves. So those creatures, those angels, if you want, those our higher selves from another dimension,
Yes.
they will actually give us the steps on how to do this. It
Tools.
is
Yeah.
easy, it is simple. So many people already teach about that out there, but I just hope that more and more people will listen to them.
Great. I think, when we overcome the step of being afraid of that there might be a threat from aliens, so many
Yes.
people who didn't have access to those experiences are probably afraid and think about movies like Independence Day and something like that. And I think that this is probably one of the parts that is keeping us from direct communication. And I also wonder if people, I don't want to say like me, but people who have had these experiences are being taken seriously when we progress in time. Because right now, of course, I'm a psychotherapist and I could easily be called psychotic and unprofessional by saying that I've had astral experiences with
We
extraterrestrials.
will talk about that later. Just be sure about that.
Um, but I feel like people have to speak up about it, because I think many people have these kinds of experiences, but they do not talk about it. And to become an ambassador, you just need to talk about it, right?
You know what? But unfortunately, it's not enough. People will need proof. They
Mm.
always need proof.
Yeah.
Even if you tell that, you need proof. But
Yeah.
however, there is just a positive factor, the power of the many. So the more people will open up, the
Yeah.
more it's going to be something legit.
Mm.
So if you are not afraid to speak up, then someone from your audience might feel like, oh my God, finally someone said that. So
Yeah.
more people will come on the surface. This is what is
Yeah.
happening already. If you go to all the social media, you will see
Yeah.
those people who deal with those issues, those things, and they open up and they talk about afterlife experience, about near-death
Yeah.
experiences, about previous lives, and about, oh my God, I remember something that happened with my daughter, but it is out of the subject. And I was like, oh my God, this is from her past life and this is from her future as well. So, okay, it was freaking out. But I do believe that the more they open up, the more people will talk about.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Right now, you cannot convince anyone. People
Mm.
will come to realize by themselves the more they hear about that.
The cards seem to say that we are still on the verge of two different ways of living,
Unfortunately,
believing. Well,
we will
I
keep
was
on being
kind
in
of
those.
hoping for, we are through now, but it seems like there is still some chaos coming along. Yeah,
There is definitely chaos coming,
yeah,
and there will always be two sides of
yeah,
people.
yeah.
It is how balance is achieved. For balance to happen, you need this and that to preserve balance.
What would
There
you
is
suggest people? You can do it from your own experience, you can do it from your heart, but you can also do it with the cards. What is the best way for us to choose the really most fortunate timeline for all of us? What can we do concrete in our life every day?
for sure. Oh, for sure. Meditation. We have to pause our minds. If you pause your mind, then you come to be, you are a transmuter, the one who receives.
Yeah,
You are more open to channeling messages. So, first, you have to be able to pause your mind and lower down your frequencies. Um, also, I believe that people should all express themselves. I do promote journaling to my clients. We
Mhm.
have to reflect on our emotions, so we have to write them down. And I mean journaling, like grabbing pen, paper. We have to do that
Mhm.
by hand. It has a different kind of strength. Also, spending time with the loved ones. Sometimes the enlightenment, the ideas, the brainstorm, the downloads come at the most random moment
Oh,
when
yes.
you have
Yeah.
some joy with your family and you
Mm.
do something as simple.
Yeah.
And speaking of simple, we go to to the third one, simplicity.
Oh,
Be
yeah.
as simple as you can. Less fancy clothes, less decorations in the home, less. Less is more. And the more simplistic you are, the more your mind eases. And the last one, and for me it is so major, go outside,
Mm-hmm.
go to the nature,
Good
spend
nature.
time to the nature.
Yeah.
Nature,
Yeah.
I mean, ground, walk barefoot on the grass.
Yeah.
It is, the life is simple and happiness can be found in so simple things. We should never forget that.
The
When
Four
you
of
do
Cups,
that,
the Four of Cups, it's the simplicity
exactly,
of life.
exactly. And when
Mhm.
you do that, you might say that it has nothing to do with intuition. How can I unlock that? Trust me, you will. If
Yeah.
you do that,
Yeah.
it means that you live in your authentic version of yourself, in more your more natural version of yourself. So if this happens, then everything clicks and everything opens up, and you are more receptive and you are more in alignment with the whole nature and the whole
Mm.
universe. So
Yeah.
it begins with those small steps.
Wonderful. But I want to add one more aspect to that, and that is you need to be open that there is a possibility of a bigger and greater experience. If you close your mind to it, you will walk and just start thinking about your finances. But if
Of
you open
course.
up your mind that you can actually sense the bigger picture, then taking a walk is a different experience.
Exactly. I absolutely agree with that. Even though we should not diminish the everyday problems, someone has to pay the bills, of
Of
course,
course, of
but
course.
it doesn't mean that it has to overwhelm us by the moment we leave job. We should be able to put everything into boxes and okay, this is job and I left my job and I'm going home. And right now I'm finding quality time for myself,
Yeah,
nourish myself, my soul, and my body. We
yeah,
have to do everything and realize that we are not here in this divine world just so randomly to go to a 9 to 5 job and go back home and stress over money and stress over everything. Yes, there are problems, and we've all been through problems, but if we realize that we do have the power to change our own reality and our own lives, then it's going to be like a miracle how easy it is.
yeah. Thank you so much, Artemis. That was
Thank
a
you.
wonderful conversation. And I think it's going to enlighten a lot of people and to inspire people to even look into something like tarot reading for the first time in their lives, because there is so much skepticism around that, and you showed that it's
Indeed.
very intuitive and easy. Thank you
Indeed.
a lot.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a great conversation. I mean, you've touched important subjects that I honestly wanna stay here and keep on discussing with you. But okay, I
Yeah, I
appreciate
really
your
love
time.
this job as well. Paying the
It is
bills,
so
but
interesting.
I love it. It nourishes my soul, it nourishes my heart.
See, this is
So,
your soul purpose. It's in
yes,
alignment with your destiny. Thank you so
absolutely.
much, so much.
Thank you a lot too. And maybe we'll have another round. Let's see what comes up. But for now,
Whenever you
I
want.
think we're leaving the audience with all the wonderful and easy, simple steps to take to come more into touch with oneself.
Exactly. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.